Hey, this is another movie review. Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. Khan! Y'all remember that? He was like, Khan! I love this movie. It's actually one of my pet peeves that I watch this movie at least once a year. It is my favorite Star Trek movie out of all the Star Trek, even the J.J. Abrams. It's actually a continuation of one of the episodes of the original Star Trek series where they introduced this character called Khan. Khan is generically engineered, he's superior, but he is a psychopathic killer. And he tries to kill Captain Kirk in the show. They exile him on a planet, and they never check back on these people. And so this movie kicks off with Khan wanting his wrath. So Chekhov is with another new spaceship, and him and his captain to go down there, who's actually played Miss Winslow's daddy in Family Matters, and for those that keeping score. And so they go down this planet, and they find out this is City Alpha 5, and they got it wrong. And so Chekhov, knowing that Khan is on that planet and seeing that dog tag, he gets scared. He's like, we got to get out of here. The captain's over there like, what do you mean, Chekhov? What do you mean? And this is how you know that then this must be really, he would group around white folk. Because when white people get scared, black folk are gone. You know what I'm saying? I would have had to hammer on out the door. He would have had to tell me and had that look on his face, and I'm asking all these questions. And so, like, when they get out there, Khan's folk are there, and they put these little buds in their ears, and it kind of makes them in a position where they can't control their own willpower. And so he sets up a trap for the Enterprise. And at this time, Captain Kirk is now Admiral Kirk. He has gotten out the chair. He's got a real corporate with it, but he's not happy. He wants to be hopping around the galaxy. That's just what he feels like. And it really shows, this movie shows just the love between Spock, Bones, and Kirk. I think it's been shown a lot, but this one really emphasizes the brotherhood and also shows their disagreements, because even though they're friends, they don't always agree, especially Bones and Spock. And so they're on the race to find this project called Genesis. Genesis has literally the ability to create life. But what happens if that thing, if Genesis falls in the wrong hands? If it can create life, it can also means it can destroy life. And so what happens with a guy who's psychopathic like Khan having a weapon like that in his hands? So they're racing to find out what's going on with Captain, with Dr. What's her name? Mercer, I think it was. And so they get there, they find out he's killed all these scientists, but he could not get Genesis. So they go down to the surface. Khan gets Genesis and plans to leave Kirk down there. Now, the Star Trek Enterprise gets wrecked. They think, because they've commandeered the other starship, they think that's a fellow starship. And I mean, it gets wrecked. They lower down their shields because they don't think it's a threat. Khan has took over the ship with his crew, and they are literally destroyed the Enterprise. You find out that towards the end of the movie, that it becomes a great space battle. They follow them into the nebula. Becomes a very often Star Trek trope throughout the lineage now. But this is really the first time you hear that word into the nebula, where they're hiding. And even though their shields are defenseless, the same will happen for Khan's ship. It's a great acting. Khan is the perfect Star Trek villain. I love the Kirk and Khan rivalry. I think there's no other rivalry in Star Trek that matches that. I'm a huge fan of this movie. Like I said, I think it's the best one. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's not the greatest film of all times. With time, I think even with the lack of what they had, it still aged pretty well. And like I said, the acting really delivers. It's very typical. It's true to the TV show, but with a bigger budget. And so if you really like the Star Trek TV show, you'll really like Wrath of Khan. And to me, it's one of my favorite Star Trek films. Like I said, I watch at least once a year. But it's 8 out of 10. Let me know what you feel like. Is Wrath of Khan the best one? Search of Spock, Voyage Home, maybe you like the Picard versions of the Borg and things. So let me know what you feel like and what you think.